Okay, we're going to start on page 21b. So what we'll do tonight, hopefully we'll get to 22, bottom 22a. Tomorrow we'll do 22b and 22.
No, so you don't even have to do 23. Just take your time, do whatever you want.
Then you would do 23b.
I'm okay even doing all 20, except there's a lot on 24B.
Okay.
So whatever it is.
Okay.
Good story. Good.
And Naftali, you hear me? Can you hear me?
Fine,
Okay.
thank you.
We're going to start, we said 21a, right? Amar Rav Huna. It's, let's see, maybe 12 lines from the top of the page. 21b, I'm sorry, 21b. Amar Rav Huna says, Hi, Bar Mavua Uki Rechaya. Let's say there's a person from a Mavli, which is one alley. That means that there's houses all around that. It's sort of like a complex. That he sets up a mill. His friend comes and also sets up a mill. This is unfair competition, right? That's what someone told me. The halach is that the first guy that had the mill can stop the second guy saying you're interfering with my business. He can stop him. He says to him, you're stopping my livelihood. Messiah, let's bring a support to Rav Huna that a person can make a claim like this. It says, but if one person set up a net to catch fish, and another person comes to set up a net also to catch fish. So we tell the second guy, we say you have to move it away from the first guy's net, the amount that a fish could swim. I'm not sure how much that is. The fish could swim across the whole thing, and depends how much time you give them, right?
Swim until he gets good in the net.
So Vikama, how long is that? Amarav Barvuna ad parsa. That means a parsa. It means you can't set up your net within one parsang, which is what is that? 4 mil?
8,000 amas.
And each mil is 2,000 amas. That's 8,000 amas. So this seems to be a support for Rav Huna that says you're not allowed to set up a mill in English, a mill, not the measurement, a mill. A flour mill. You can't set up a flour mill next to your neighbor's flour mill because you're taking away his business. We have a support for this that you can't set up a net next to someone else's net because you're taking away his business. The Gemara says, well, it may not be a support because Johnny Duggan, it's very possible that fish are different. You obviously say Siyara because they put their eyes on the food, on the bait. Since their eyes are on the bait, so then when you set up yours, you're literally taking it away from the guy that it was already his. It's as if it was in his net. So over there, you're taking the business directly from his net. But over here, when you're setting up a mill, the guy didn't go into he didn't already hire you. It's like as if you were hired already and then you're taking him away. So there's a difference here. Maybe by the fish, everyone would agree, but they don't necessarily agree to Rav Huna's din. Rav Huna's din is one step more than that. We don't have a support for it.
There are two different cases. One is wholesale, one's retail. One is selling and one is catching. I'm assuming the way I'm picturing it, the mavoi is like a shuk and people walk through. Right. So if there's two mills next to each other, the people at the first mill or the new mill interferes with, right, unless there's an entrance at both ends. But with the fish, they're going fishing. And one throws in net and the catching, so no one has bought. The fisherman doesn't buy the fish; he's catching it to sell.
The Gemara's not looking at it like that. The Gemara's looking at it that by the fish, it's definite that the business is already his because the fish has already seized the bait. The potential business is already his. However, by the mill, the guy walks in, not necessarily is it going to go to his store, maybe it'll go to your store or the other store, right? There's nothing pulling him either way.
So by the fish, it should already be a case of drama.
Right. That's why by the fish, everyone would agree to. But Rav Huna's case, not necessarily. Ravina says, let us say that Rav Huna is saying exactly what Rabbi Yehuda says. The Tanan was taught in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda the guys in the next Mishnah Regila Metzlai. You're not allowed to give out. You're not allowed to give out toasted grain, nuts, which is basically candy, to children, because it's in the store. The parents would send them to the store to buy whatever. And they have an option of different stores. Which store they're going to go to? The one that gives them the ice cream. That's the free slushies over there. So they're going to go to that store. So Rabbi Yehuda says you're not allowed to give out free slushies just over there because you're going to take away business from everyone else. The Chum say you're allowed to. Well, Rabbi Yehuda says that you're not allowed to do that because you're taking away business. That sounds like Rav Huna says you're taking away business. The Gemara says, well, that's not necessarily so. I feel the Rabbanan. Rav Huna could also fit with the Rabbanan that say that you're allowed to give out slushies or whatever other types of snacks they had back then. Why do the Rabbanan say that it's allowed over there? He says, I'm giving out, the guy comes to him and says, you're taking away my business because you're giving out these candies, these nuts to the kids. All the kids are coming to you, you're taking away my business. So the guy tells him back, he says, I'm giving out nuts, you can give out apricots. I don't know what shusky are. Almonds. You're giving out almonds, Rashi says. You can give out almonds. Whatever it is. And I'm not stopping you from doing that. You can do something else, right? Abul Hachab, when it comes over here to the mill, even the Rabbanan would agree that you're not allowed to open up a new mill because you're taking away my business. And now the Gemara is not explaining exactly what the difference is. But I think maybe the difference is, without looking in the commentaries, I think the difference is that over here, he had a store, or as if he had a store. He had by the mill. He has a mill. The other guy is about to open a new mill. He's going to open a new mill. He says, no, you're taking away from my business. Over there, the two stores have both existed. And he's going to give out something that's going to cause customers to come. So he says, well, you give out something to cause customers to come. Yeah. Right? That's what it seems like is the difference. Did the business exist? You're just doing something better? Right?
I mean, you could just say if someone's lowering their price.
Adam Smith.
We learned this before. Where he said,
could be, yeah,
you give out
right
with the kids, right?
Yeah. Maybe it was last time around, 7 years ago.
No. We learned it in another Gemara.
Okay. Maybe the Gemara has a question on Rav Huna. It says, your person is allowed to make a store next to his friend's store. And he's allowed to make a bathhouse next to his friend's bathhouse, mikveh. You can't stop him because he can say, your store, your bathhouse is in your property. My store, my bathhouse is in my property.
Does this have anything to do with they're selling the same thing, or it's just
they're selling exactly the same thing? Gemara says Tanai. Okay, so it seems like a question on Rav Huna, because here we have a brayso that says you are allowed to. Gemara says, well, it's not a question because it's actually machlekes Tanaim. Tanya was taught in a brayso keifin b'nei b'neiim. See here, what's happening is you have people that live in this mavoi, this complex, and there already is a tailor there. Now, one of the people wants to rent out his apartment to another tailor. So the people of the Mavi can force him not to rent it out to the tailor. Because we already have one tailor here, you're going to be interfering with the first tailor's business. What's a borsky? A tanner. You can't do that. Oh, you can't even do it to another teacher. It's big chiddush. And not from any other type of craftsman that you can stop him from renting his place to a craftsman that's already part of that there already is one. However, if there's someone from that complex itself that wants to now be a tailor, that wants to now be a tanner, that wants to now start a school, something like this, he is allowed to because he's already in there. So he has the rights to do whatever he needs to make a living. The other guy that's already making it fine. But you just can't take someone from the outside and bring him in. That's not right. That's the Rabbanan's opinion.
It's interesting. Tosfos says with teacher, because you remarked that talking about teaching secular subjects or non-Jewish children. Because
That would fit with the Gemara
another
report.
Rebbe.
Yeah, now where's that near Lurid B'Malamed to make us Nachar Ma'iri? Yeah.
The teacher's Torah cannot be bought.
Right, right.
Yeah, if you have more than a certain amount of children, you need it.
Right. Okay. However, Rav Shimon ben Gamliel's opinion, which this would fit better with Rav Huna, is says Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer that even a neighbor can stop his neighbor from opening up their business. Now, according to the first opinion, a neighbor is allowed to open up. Like Rav Huna said that if one person has a mill, another person can't open up a mill next to him. We're talking about even from the same mavi, same complex. But Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says exactly the same thing. The Rabbanan say no. The Rabbanan say a neighbor is allowed to. It's someone from the outside that's not allowed to. Why are you coming here and you just moved in and you're disturbing? Amar Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. This is different Rav Huna. First Rav Huna is a student of Rav. Now Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua is a student of Abai and Rav. Much later, he says like this: Pshitali. The following is obvious to me. He's going to make a statement. These statements usually end up with a question. Starts off with, "This is obvious to me," but later on is a question. Bar Masa Achriti Matsumakir. There's one person from this city and there's a person from another city that's trying to move in to make a new business here. It's exactly the business that the person in the city has. He can stop him and say, "You can't come here." He's shaykh b'karga da'acha, but if he's already paying tax in this city, that means he's part of the city. Then like Matsumakir, you can't stop him. What do you mean? Why are you stopping me? I pay tax.
But it's just in the mother.
Right now we're in the city. Next is the Mavi. Bar Mavi, Bar Mavud, and Nafshay. Someone from one Mavi, someone from the same Mavi that he was trying to open a business. By Matsumakir, we can't stop him. Now, who holds that? That is not like Rav Huna. That's the Rabbanan. Rav Huna would say you can't stop. Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua is following not Rav Huna, following the Rabbanan. Why you Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua? Now his question is, after he said everything that's obvious, says Bar Mavur Achrini, my. Let's say there's one alleyway that wants to open up a business that's the same as the alleyway that's next to it. Can he stop him? That's his question. Umar says take it. That we don't have an answer for. Okay. Now, Umaydi Rav Huna would agree. Rav Huna said that one miller, right? Is that what you call him? Someone that has a miller? One miller is not allowed to open another. You can stop. One miller can stop the other miller from opening up. So he says, "B'mikri dar the key." If someone's opening up another school, you can't stop him. No, you can skip the parentheses. Go to the top of page 22. Because the master taught that the jealousy amongst the scribes increases wisdom, which means that it's going to cause the learning to grow. If you open a new school, right? After everyone's trying to improve. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, peddlers that go around and they sell these little trinkets and spices and perfumes to the women and to the girls, that you can't stop them from coming into your town, even though that's exactly the store that you have. You also have a tourist store. Whatever, you sell little stuff. So, and this guy's coming around selling the same things. He says you can't stop them. Because the master taught because this was instituted by Ezra. That the girls should have nice little ornaments, cosmetics. But that's only if the guy's traveling around. But he can't set up a shop because you already have the shop in that city. But if he's a sort of Merabanan, if he's a yeshiva student, that he also has a business on the side, he's allowed to set up a shop because that's easier for him than traveling around. It's going to disturb his learning. Rashi adds one other point. And also it's not the way for him to go from door to door selling things. Nowadays it's the trunk of the car. The guys in Crown Heights years ago that you would open up the trunk and inside was svarim. They were selling svarim from the trunk. Yeah,
When my wife first opened up.
they do flowers like that.
At the beginning of her just the mitzvah, of course, the first thing she made was handmade tzedakah boxes. I mean, they were really nice. We went to the Catskills and we'd go to Bungalow Colonies. We'd open up the trunk and they'd buy it right out of the trunk.
Yeah, that's great. Right out of the Gemara. Okay, Yihad Rava, just like Rava says, just like Rava, Sharlu Rabeshia Rav Vadia Akpuye, like Elvasa. He allowed these two rabbis, Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Vadia, to set up a shop. My time, what's the reason? Keeping the Rabbanan, you know, also the Migir Sayo. If since they're rabbis, since they're the yeshiva guys, it's going to interrupt their learning if they can't set up a shop. They're going to have to keep traveling around to sell their things. Hani dikulai. These dikulai. Dikulai is either woven baskets made out of dekel, made out of palm branches, or dikulai is a dikla. It's made out. It means a pot. It means a pot, like a pot.
She went charging.
What is that?
That's what she made. She gave
wow.
And he gave her necklace.
Wow.
Keep on going.
Really nice.
That's the tzedakah box.
In fact, the sign is showing a tzedakah box that his wife was giving to the Rebbe.
Yeah, she bought it.
She made these decorative tzedakah boxes. Can I
These
show?
ones had tzitzis on them. They were either tefillin or tzitzis boxes.
That's like
Randy, is that from when the Rebbe was talking about attaching your tzedakah box to the wall of the house?
I don't know, but
Nice, really nice.
he ended up in the video on tzedakah.
Oh yeah.
You know the tzedakah. Yeah, and Jeb.
Okay. So yeah, you get 15 minutes of fame. So you know
All I
she's
know
down
is this is
one.
when Princess
14
Diane was alive because the Diane Shaitlach were popular. Everything's with a short shaitel.
Talking about the Diane, Princess Diane Shaitels. Okay.
I remember when it was.
I see. Okay, these potters or these basket weavers, they brought their either pots or baskets to Bavel. Also, b'nei masa kamakvi ilavayu, iluye, ilavehu. The people of the city came and they stopped him. You know, you don't belong here. We have our own sellers. Also, they came to Ravina. There's a market going on here. This is a fair. There's people coming from all over. We're selling it to the people from other towns that have come here to shop, and we're also merchants. So they'll buy it from us. Amalahu means that Ravina tells the people of the city, what do you want from them? They're selling to other people. They're not selling to you. They're selling to the other people that come. And that's if it's a market day. But if it's not a market day where you're just selling it to the people of the city itself, then no. That's only if you're going to sell it in the market where everyone is, all people, it's like a fair. People are coming from all over. But over here, you're not allowed to go around. You're not allowed to go to the city people. Because the city people have their own basket makers. There are these wool sellers. They sell wool. They came to Pumnara. People of the city stopped them from selling. Rav Kana says to them, they're right. They are allowed to stop you from selling. So they said, we have a problem. Because Islam Ashroi, we have debts here. People have bought from us and haven't paid yet. And we're waiting to collect the money. And while we're waiting to collect the money, we have to live. So we have to sell while we wait till we're paid. So Rav Kana said, you're allowed to sell as much as you need for survival. And then once you collect your money, then you move on, please. Okay. Rav Dimi from Nardai. Yeah, he is a student of What does it say over there? He's a later Amira.
Lived in the fourth and fifth generation.
Yeah. He's in the time of Rava and Rava's Talmidim. I see.
He engaged in disputes with the Baya and Rav.
Okay. I see Gregor Spesvina. He brought figs by boat. And I guess he comes to Mechuzah or something. Amalei Reish Galusa l'Rava. So the Reish Galusa says to Rava, Puk chazi yitzova me'Rabbanan hu nakat le'shuka. Check out if he's a Torah scholar, we'll give him the market that he could sell his things first. That way, sell his things first. Everyone else has to hold their things till he finishes selling. Then that's the respect that we're going to give to a Torah scholar. Amalei Rava l'Ravad Barava. Rava says to his student, Ravad Barava, go smell his jug. That means go check if he's a Torah scholar. Test him. So Nafa Gazel Boymine, he went out and he asked him the following question. This is how you tell if someone's a Talmud Chacham. Someone comes. Someone comes, he says he's a Talmud Chacham, ask him the following question. Let's see if he knows it. It says, Pil Shabbat Akvifa Mitzvah Vikia Derech Beisrei Mahu. If there's an elephant that swallowed a wicker basket, and where did we have it? In
No, but I'm glad I finished the children.
Menachos. And it came out, excuse me, came out the other side. You swallowed it and it came out still a whole basket. So Ma, what's the din? Does it become tummy? Do we say that it's considered manure and it doesn't become tummy? Or do we say that it's still an original basket?
Treated.
Treated. He didn't know the answer. This is my Rav Dimi doesn't know the answer. So Amar Lei, Rav Dimi says, he hears this guy is asking him a question. So it must be a Talmud Chacham, the guy that's asking the question. Amar Lei, Marni you Rava? You must be Rava. He hits him on the shoe. This is Ravada Baraba, sitting him on the shoe. By the way, Tyson points out that it's not Ravada Barava, it's Ravada Baraba. Amalei says to him, Ben Didila Rava Ikatuba. Oh, there's a big difference between me and Rava. Rava's much greater. Whatever the case is, I'm your teacher. Rabba the Rabba, and Rabba would be the teacher of your teacher. He didn't know the answer. They didn't give him the market. Today, his figs went bad. The Rabbi Yosef came to Rabbi Yosef Amalei, says to him, Chazim Mar, my Rabbi Yosef is the teacher of Rabba, teacher of Abaya. Says, look at what they're doing to me. Amalei, look, I lost all my money. Amalei, man leishri loinaisa, the malka dedaim, leishri loinaisa. The ksiv koyamar Hashem al shleish pishimaya valarbo leishibenu al sharafu or sharfu sami smell achedem sid. The one that didn't delay punishment for the oppression. How do you say?
He says
Humiliation of the non-Jewish king should not delay punishment for your humiliation. Well, it's a verse that says that. Well, anyway, what happened after that is Nach Nafshe de Ravada Baraba. Ravada Baraba passed away. Well, Rabbi Yosef, come on. Yosef says, "Ana Anishtei. I'm the one that caused it. Because I cursed him. I cursed him. Shem shouldn't delay punishment. I was the one that punished him because the opposite Gregors because it was my figs that went bad. It's all because of me. I'm the one that caused him to die. Because he would always tell the rabbis, they would tell them, there were 2 yeshivas in town, probably. So Ravada Baraba would tell the people going to yeshiva, he says, why are you going to Abaya's yeshiva and chew the bones? And he goes to Rava and eat the fat meat. meant that Rava would give you much better explanations for everything. Learning was better. So he says Abaye is saying that the reason why Ravada died was because he would insult his yeshiva. Rava says, I'm the one that caused his death. The reason why each one is saying this is because there's anyone that someone gets punished because of him, they don't let him into the mechitza of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that in the close proximity to Hashem. So I guess they wanted to do tshuva for that. So each one is saying that it was me.
So the second fellow who wouldn't let him come and sell his figs or whatever, and then he died.
Yeah.
Is the Gemara making the connection that because he did something wrong and wouldn't sell his figs, he was chayav misa, chayav?
The Gemara is just saying that he's considering it that he died because he didn't let him sell his figs. That's
So
the one
he's making that connection.
Yeah. However, there's a lot of other causes. So it seems more complex. Because Rav Yosef says it was his curse. Rav Dimi says it was my figs. Abaye says it was because he used to speak bad about me. Rava says, because I'm sorry.
I thought this is all the fact that, like, when the tzaddik says something, that.
That's what Rav Yosef. That's what Rav Yosef says. Each one saying something else. I'm the one that caused the when he would go to the meat store to buy meat. He would tell the butcher, Rava had a messenger that was going to buy meat, and Ravada used to cut the line in front of Rava's messenger and say that I'm more significant than the messenger, even though it was known that he was buying it for Rava. So Rava is saying that, well, that's sort of like an insult to me, and that's why Ravada died. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, I'm the one that caused it. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Reish Kala. Nachman Yitzchak was the one that would speak on Shabbos in the yeshiva, in the shul. Kol Yaima Mikame Dinei Olakala Marat Badei Ravada Baraba Lashami V'Hadar Aya Lakala. Rav Nachman Yitzchak would review the shiur that he was going to give. He would review it with Ravada Baraba. Ravada Baraba would always come early, and they would review it together. And then Rav Nachman Yitzchak would go and say it over. There was this day that he died. What happened was 2 students of Rava weren't there in the yeshiva. B'siyuma at the end of Masech Bechiros, or when Rav Nachman was appointed. There's different opinions over here. Whatever the case is, Amrulay, they tell to Rav Ada Baraba, tell us some teachings from Rava. So they delayed him from coming to help Rav Nachman Yitzchak prepare the shiur. Amrullahu, he said to them, Achi Amar Rava, this is what Rava says. Achi Amar Rava, this is what Rava says. Adahachi. In the meantime, Nagalei Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman Yitzchak was delayed. And Amalei Rabban Rav Nachman Yitzchak, the rabbis told Rav Nachman Yitzchak, come to Nagalach, Lama Yosef Mar, get up, it's late, come and give the shiur. Amar Lahu, he says, Yasivna. What does Yasivna mean? You should sit, or I'm sitting. I am sitting. Come into the Arsi de Ravada Bar Abba. He said, why didn't he come? Must be that he died. He says, I'm waiting for the coffin of Ravada Bar Abba. And then the word came out that Ravada Bar Abba passed away. It's probable that Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak caused him to die. That he was the one the main cause. Okay. What does it say? Do you have any notes on that before I? Any notes on this last piece, Mistabra? Why does the Gemara say it's Mistabra that it was him?
No, it says here, a curse uttered by a righteous man, even if it is unintentional, is carried out immediately.
Maybe that's Rabbi Yosef also.
It says compares this to a king who issues an order to execute someone.
Right.
The king's order is carried out even if it was an order.
Remember we had that once.
Oh, and
okay. Yeah, that's an expression in Kippur. Okay. Shakaya, everyone. Good night. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
if anybody's still hungry, I got it
Oh, I'm
in-
always hungry.
smashed it with, for BOGO.
Never have what to eat.
BOGO's milk.